Hey guys, welcome to another video, and I am Marcos Rifo. I'm here to teach you how to make a hot lap around the Mugello circuit, which is running the Driving Academy Formula Tatuus series on Sim Race System this week. And also, I'm sharing the setup, which is on the website. You can download there, and also the Ghost Lab. So everything on the description below, and obviously on the website. Well, let's start the lap. First corner, getting close to the braking point, we have to put the car on maximum possible on the opposite side to the corner, which is to the right side. So I have to put the car on the limit on the left side, but we don't have to use these curves here, okay? This is not necessary. You won't have the same grip level on the tires, so you have a worse braking grip. So it's a little bit faster and easier to do that corner just using this track point, okay? Thinking on where braking, and this is a very long corner. So a secret in this kind of corners is you don't have to brake so much before the corner, because you can brake the car during the corner, inside the corner. That's called trail braking, okay? And also you have an off camber, so because of that you have some friction between the asphalt and the tires, and that will brake the car a little bit more than in a normal corner, okay? As you can see, there is no plate, there is no reference to where braking, so it's a little bit harder, specifically to the rookie drivers, and you can be one of them. In this kind of corner, the best way to do and the best way to understand where braking is, brake at the same time you turn the wheel. Only one movement. It's very easier to understand where braking doing that, because do that correctly, we will reach the curves on the inside corner, on the middle of the corner. So as you can see here, just a little bit lock up, but you have to hit this point of the corner, okay? It's part of the track, which is the apex, okay? It's very easier to understand like that. And also here I'm using 100% brake pressure. I think it's faster. It's not the easier way to drive the Red Bull Ring setup. Some guys were complaining about how easy it was to lock up the brakes. Yes, I understand that. And if you're not in understanding how to manage your brakes, you can reduce slightly the brake pressure, okay? Something like 98%, 97%. It's a little bit slower. The car won't have the same energy and power on braking, but it's easier to drive. But if you want to really go faster, so if you want to go on the 44s, it's only possible, in my opinion, using that kind of braking. Only using 70%, 60%, and probably not more than 80% is good enough. How I'm doing on the first corner? 70%, something close like that, and then turning the wheel and quickly releasing the brakes, and then you can start to throttle again, just a little bit careful, because there is some understeering here, okay? But well, full throttle and trying to go back to the right side, okay? Because if you keep the car on the left side, there is no good entry to the next corner, which is the second one. Okay, so the first move is turn the wheel. It's a very faster corner and very short, so you don't have to stay there for a long time, okay? So you can put the outside wheels on the curves, because doing that you have a better entry. So what's the difference between this one and the first one? Because on the first one we had a huge braking. In this one we have less braking and more speed. So it's a balance between speed and how much you need the brakes. In this case, we don't need the brakes so much, we need more speed, so you can use more space on the track. And these curves are different from the curves on the first. This one are smaller, this one are more same level of the track, and so you can use them a little bit more. As you can see, very smooth on the brakes, nothing more than 20%, something like that. And then let's back, and here you have to use this part of the track most possible. Is almost like cutting corner. You have that feeling, but you won't be cutting, okay? Because you won't touch the grass, or almost nothing probably. As you can see here, not touching the grass. Okay, so but if you watch from the inside, you may have the feeling you're cutting the track, because you will see your left tires like if they was touching the grass, as you can see here. On the onboard camera, I'm touching the grass, but if you see on the chase camera to the outside camera, I'm not touching the grass. It's just a feeling, because you look into the inside wheels, they look in touching the grass, but they won't. If you really touch the grass, you feel it on your force feedback. Okay, so it's very easy to understand, and also you can check the replay. So here, after leaving the curbs, you can go full throttle, and then firstly turning the wheel to the right side, and then you can start releasing the throttle a bit. Okay, you may have some understeering here. The goal here is the same on the previous corner, which is basically try to use all the track possible. As you can see here, I didn't make that one perfectly, but I tried, and even not doing perfectly, I did 44. It could be a little bit faster, maybe 44.3, but yeah, the goal is this one. Use all that part of the track possible. It's very hard to find the right moment to reach that part of the track, but that's the reason you have to practice it. But you know, you have to try to go on that point. So that's a difference between doing practice with no technique and doing a practice trying to reach some part of the track. Each time you reach this curb, you have to go full throttle. You don't have to wait nothing here. You don't have to be careful. Just full throttle here, full on the gas. Okay? So, and then it's very interesting when you go, if you touch that curb, basically if the car goes through there, it's right, it's good enough. You're doing the acceleration on the right moment. But if you're not even getting close to this part of the track, you have to starting to accelerating the car a little bit earlier. And if you're going more than that, it's not good, because touching this red one, maybe you have problems because you can touch the ground. I think it's good enough to just keep the car on the curbs here, okay? Even if you're using my setup, because the car is not so high, it's a little bit close to the ground, okay? Very similar to the second corner. It's almost the same, but a little bit faster, okay? So basically here you can start to braking over the curbs, and at the same point you start to brake and you start to turn the wheel, because it's a very fast corner. You don't have time to calculate, and you don't have to start to braking and then turning. You can do both at the same time, and then you can release the brakes very quickly. And here, try to use all the track possible. The same thing I said on the second corner is almost the same, just a little bit faster, okay? You don't have to reduce the gears. You can use the fifth gear here. I think it's good enough. And when you touch this curb, start to reaccelerating the car. You can go on the throttle, but not full throttle, not full on the gas instantly. Just wait a bit. When you start to leaving the curb, then start full throttle. Because I have another corner, okay? So as you can see here, full throttle, and very quickly direct change, and touching the curbs with all the car possible, and after leaving, full throttle again. It's basically the same thing that we did on second and third corner, but it's the same thing, the same move, but with more speed. But it's exactly the same thing. And here, trying to use all the track possible. As you can see, I'm trying to avoid that red ones, because I know that can destroy my lap. Okay, so let's keep going. Downhill, the second sector, I think it's a good idea to put the car over the curbs here, because this can give to you a much better angle on the entries, and this is probably one of the fastest corners on this track. So it's very track position, it's very important, okay? So I believe this is the best way to start, right? And you can use this curb with the setup. So then here, very, very, very slight on the brakes, okay? Very, very smooth on the brakes. You don't have to brake more than that, but I think you have to just flip the brakes just to hold the speed just a little bit. And here, trying to use all the track possible, I really touched the grass here, so I was really on the limit, as you can see. very slightly touching the grass, and full throttle here. You can't wait here, okay? The time with no throttle has to be very quick, okay? You can't wait more than a second to starting to accelerate the car here. As you can see here, almost on normal speed. Full throttle, release it a bit, full throttle again. It's very easy to destroy your lap on this point, because on the exit of this corner, you have to put the car on the middle of the track. If you go too much to the left side, then you have to release the throttle on that one. So the secret to make that next corner very good is doing this previous with a good exit. You need to put the car in a position which is easier to go flat on that one, okay? So that's the secret. As you can see here, my driver is holding the wheel with just one hand. I don't know why, but is his driving style. Keeping the car on the 5th gear all the uphill, as you can see here. 5th gear, going on the revs. Whoop, I was spinning there on very fast corner. As you can see, trail here, that's the point, very quickly trail, and then trying to use all the curve possible. As you can see here, this is a very fast lap. It's a 44.5, very close to the world record, but I can see a lot of mistakes for myself. But I'm sharing this because I know this is a very good lap. But as you can see here, your goal must be use all the curve possible with the inside wheels. I had some bit of understeering here, as you can see. I didn't use everything I wanted, so because of that I don't have the greatest line to the next one corner. So the more you touch the curves there on the previous corner, less you have to release the throttle here, so you have a better speed entry, okay, at the entry. So that's the secret. And here this is the same thing. You have to put all the car possible on the curves. As you can see, I'm almost touching the grass. So that's the secret. And when you touch the curves here, you can start to accelerating the car. You can see the graphs on my pedal that I'm being just a little bit more careful on the throttle, but when I see, I'm go full, okay, full on the gas. And also you can see on the exit here that I'm using all the track possible. As you can see, I'm the closer possible to the sands. Well, it's a very long one. Is very similar to the first one, the first corner, but you have some downhill. You don't have to use the curves on the entrance, and you will first turn the wheel and then braking. And how much good you are on trail braking here basically define how good you can be on this corner. So you have to practice this technique the most you can. Let's see on the slow camera. As you can see, 70%, 60 possible, and a little bit more smooth, okay, on the way I'm releasing the brakes, because if I go very aggressive on the way I'm releasing the brakes, I will spin probably, okay, because this setup isn't the easier to drive, but is also not the harder, okay, the hardest, but you need to be a little bit more careful. You can start to accelerating the car, even if not so close to the curves here. You can open a little bit. As you can see here, I'm not so close all the time to the curves. You can open the gap a little bit. You can go a little bit to the middle, and then you can go back. But when you're starting to go back, you have to try to reach the curves on the exit of this corner, the first exit or the second apex, and you have to be on full throttle, okay? So basically this I'm doing here, as you can see. It's basically this. Another good point, you don't have to go even closer to these curves, okay? This is more than enough. If you go more closer than this, is not a good idea, because you don't have this a good point on the next corner. And the next section, which is a very fast chicane, is full throttle, okay? So here it's basically full throttle. Reach the curves here, on same thing here, and that's it. Not have to touch that curves, not necessary. And then we're going to the last one. I'm using the curves on the entrance, I think it's faster. Start turning the wheel, trying to going with the car to this point. I'm in that, and then start to braking the car 70% and releasing. You can be a little faster on the way you release the brakes here, because we have a lot of downforce here. Okay, if the corner is not so close, a little bit wider than the last ones we did, and basically turning the wheel, trying to reach the curbs here, as you can see, the closer possible to inside. I don't have to go over the curbs here, it's just going around, and you can start to throttle. On the exit you can go a little bit more over the curbs, okay, because if not do that, you have some understeering here and you maybe lost some straight speed. Okay, so basically that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you keep doing your races on the Driving Academy Sim Race System Formula Tatuus. We have more than 1,000 drivers who did it, races there, and I'm very, very happy with this. So I will keep posting, and I also did a tutorial lap to the Caterham. It's another series running with the fixed setup. I did the lap tutorial to Laguna Seca, and also did the ghost lap, so you can check here on the website. And also, if you're interested on improve your driving, improve your knowledge about sim racing, about setups, about strategies, telemetry and data analysis, and all that stuff is very important to go to the top of the podium. You can learn with me. I have an online course where I teach everything I learned on these 8 years, which makes possible to me to be always fighting for the wins on the racing system and also in other racing platforms. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Share this with some friends if you have some friends running the series, to they improve their performance too. Okay, see you on the next week. Bye bye.